Hello everybody, my name is Jennifer Maker. It's a beautiful day to show you how to etch and personalize a glass jar on the Great Maker Show and Tell. I love etching glass and I'm always amazed at how easy it is to do. Last year I taught you how to etch a casserole dish with a nice flat bottom. So this year I thought it would be fun to teach you how to etch a curved surface like a glass jar. These make wonderful gifts because you can just fill them up with treats or gifts and then give them. So to etch glass, we need an etching cream. I have had great success with Amour Etch. I will put the link to this etching cream below this video. Now to get a cool design onto the jar with etching cream, you need a stencil. You can make one with permanent vinyl in any color. It doesn't matter what color it is. And of course, you can use Stencil Vinyl instead, but I find that permanent vinyl works just as well. Do not use removable vinyl because I don't think it sticks well enough. You're also going to need the same size of transfer tape, standard grip to get your design onto your jar. Now the jar itself should be curved in just one direction, meaning its sides should be straight up and down. If you use a jar that's more like a ball shape, you're going to find it really hard to get your vinyl on unless you keep your design really tiny. I'm using a 1 gallon jar for this project, and the link for this exact jar that I used is below this video as well. Now it's also important to have some protective equipment because etching cream is caustic and you do not want it on your skin or in your eyes. I recommend gloves, safety goggles, and an apron. Other useful things for this project include paint brushes, painter's tape, alcohol, and lint-free cloths like these blue shop towels over here. Now I cut my stencil on a Cricut cutting machine with a fine point blade and a screen standard grip mat. Now you just need the design for your jar. I have created 3 designs for you to play with. You can personalize all of them. They're really cool. So let me show you where to find these designs and then how to use them to cut stencils and etch your very own jar.
Step 1. Get the stencil design. Download the jar stencil designs from my blog at jennifermaker.com/266. Just go to the red bar at the top and look for libraries. Then either click Get a Password if you don't yet have one, or click Enter the library. You can find the pattern by searching the page for Design 266 and then click it to download an SVG cut file for cutting with a Cricut or another cutting machine. Step 2. Upload the stencil designs. Let me show you how to cut the stencil to etch your glass jar on a Cricut cutting machine. First, upload the SVG cut file that you downloaded in Step 1 to Cricut Design Space. If you're unsure how to unzip and upload SVG files, please watch my SVGs Made Simple training series at jennifermaker.com/svgs. Once you've uploaded the designs into Cricut Design Space, ungroup the designs and choose the design that you want, and then hide the others with the eye icon. Now measure the width and height of your glass jar and make sure the design you want to use will fit on your jar. I sized these designs for the 11-inch glass jar that's listed in my materials list. If you're using a different jar, resize the design accordingly. You can resize with the resize icon in the lower right corner of the design, or just type a new size into the height and width boxes at the top of the screen. Now 2 of the designs, Life is Short, Eat More Cookies, and My Dog is Not Spoiled. Those are ready to be cut as they are, and if you picked one of those, you can just go ahead and click Make It Now. The Alexa's Bakery design can be customized. To do this, select the Alexa's Bakery design in Design Space and click on the Contour button in the lower right corner. Contour opens up the Contour window, which looks like this before you make any changes. Now select the letters that you want to remove in the design by clicking on them here in the Contour window, and be sure to also select the centers of all the letters as well. Your design will look like this once you have all the letters selected. Selecting something here in Contour will remove it. So once you have everything removed in this design that you want, click on the X in the upper right corner of the screen to close out of the Contour window and return to your canvas. You will now see that the name Alexa's has been removed. How easy was that? Now, if you'd like to add your own text to the design, like your own name, click on the text button on the left-hand side of the screen. Type in your text and then select the font that you want to use. I use the Trans City font from fontbundles.net, and there's a link to it below this video if you want to use it too, but you can use whatever font you desire. Align the new text with the original design so it looks good to you. And now click on both the design and the new text and click Attach. This is important because you need them to stay together, and we use Attach for that. And that's all there is to customizing the stencil. I'm going to go ahead and make the stencil for Alexa's Bakery, though, because I think this would make a great gift for my daughter Alexa, who loves to cook and bake. When you're ready, click Make It. On the matte preview screen, you'll see your design. You do not have to mirror your design, as we normally only mirror designs like iron-on vinyl, and we're using permanent vinyl for this project. So click Continue and choose your material. I'm picking premium vinyl, which means permanent vinyl. Step 3. Cut and weed your stencil. To show you how easy this is to do, my design elf will cut and apply the stencil and etch the jar while I talk you through it. Put your vinyl shiny side up on your cutting mat, being careful to get it as smooth as possible. Then load the mat into your Cricut and press the flashing button to begin cutting. When done, press the unload button to remove your mat, but do not take the vinyl off your cutting mat yet. Keep it on the mat for now. Now it's time to weed your vinyl. Weeding the vinyl to be used for a stencil is done differently than normal weeding, and that you're going to weed in reverse. So instead of removing the vinyl around the letters, you remove the vinyl letters themselves. So any place that you want to have etching, that's where you're going to remove in your stencil. While the vinyl is still on the cutting mat, remove all the vinyl letters and the design elements inside your vinyl design. Be sure to leave all the centers of the letters in place. If they accidentally come out while you're weeding, just put them back into place carefully. After the stencil design is completely weeded, remove it from the mat. Now it's time to apply transfer tape to the stencil design. You can use regular transfer tape or even just overlapped layers of painter's tape. Once you've covered the stencil with either transfer tape or painter's tape, flip your design over and remove the paper backing from the vinyl. Your stencil is now ready to use. Step 4. Apply the stencil to your jar. Get your glass jar and prepare it by cleaning the outside with isopropyl alcohol and a lint-free cloth, like a blue shop towel or a coffee filter. To keep the jar from rolling around on your surface, place the jar lid on one side of the jar. This will also help for keeping the jar in place when you're applying your stencil in a minute. Now pick up your stencil and hold it over your jar without yet touching the glass like this, and line up the stencil with your jar. When you feel it is as straight as you can get it, carefully lay the middle of the stencil down on your jar. Now gently smooth the stencil out from the middle to the sides of the jar. Before removing the tape, be sure to burnish the stencil down to the jar really well, using either your Cricut scraper or your fingers. Now remove the tape. If some of the stencil comes up with the transfer tape, just push it back down again and continue to remove the transfer tape. Check your vinyl to be certain all areas around the letters are adhered really well to the glass. This step is important as it will stop your etching cream from bleeding into areas that you don't want it to. Just go all around the lettering with your fingers and push the vinyl down really well. Now take a good look at your stencil and make sure there is plenty of vinyl covering the edges of your design. You may have to cover the jar area with extra painter's tape to be sure you're not going to get any of the etching cream on the glass where you don't want it. Step 5. Etch your glass jar. First, be sure to put on a pair of safety glasses and gloves before you open the jar of etching cream. Remember, etching cream is caustic and I don't want you to get it on your skin or in your eyes. Shake or stir your etching cream before you use it. Now apply the cream to the glass with a regular paintbrush, not a foam brush, and use your brush to move the cream on top of your stencil. Once it's on your design, move the etching cream around. Move it up and down, side to side, and diagonally. Keeping the etching cream moving around your design helps you get into every nook and cranny. Keep the cream on and moving for at least 5 to 10 minutes. The more you can keep the cream moving, the more even your etching will be. When the time is up, rinse the jar off under running water. Now, if you used a lot of cream, you can scrape it back into your container first and then rinse. Be sure to get all the etching cream off the jar before you remove the vinyl stencil. You don't want to accidentally touch it or get it on your work surface. Dry the jar well and remove the stencil. You may need to use your weeding tool to remove any vinyl that can't be picked off by hand. Give the jar a final rinse after the stencil has been removed. Step 6. Show it off. And here is the finished jar. Isn't this just so cool? And I love how classy this etching looks. My daughter is going to love this jar.
Now, if you want to customize your jar designs and match the fonts that I've used, I put a list of every font in these 3 designs over on my blog at jennifermaker.com/266. So you can get the exact same look. Now, if you have any questions about how to etch glass, let me know. Leave your question below this video or ask over in my craft group at jennifermaker.com/CricutCrafters. And if you need a Cricut cutting machine, I give one away every month. You can enter for your chance to win your own Cricut cutting machine at jennifermaker.com/Cricut giveaway. And that's it for today. Tomorrow, I'll be back to show you how to create a customized whiteboard for your family. It is so cool. You're going to love this. Remember, I love hearing about what projects you want to make because I just like to make things for you that are useful for you. So if you can tell me what you want to make, I can show you how to make it. Until next time, this is Jennifer Maker reminding you to craft a life you love.